Okay, so the other day, we looked at some of my games from this variation here, the Qside Ruy. There's a whole series of videos, video clips I've done on this so far on this stream, and you can find them on my like highlights on Twitch, I guess, or on my YouTube channel. I'm not sure how to navigate to highlights, but maybe you can see like Deep Bruce videos or something. Anyway, there should be some videos saved on my Twitch account on this opening. And today we're going to continue it by looking up some games that other people have played in this variation, seeing if they have any other interesting ideas from what I have seen here. So view all current games from this position, and then we're going to sort it by rating of white players. Hey Vasan, how are you today? Okay, Koneru. Let's check out her game. Bishop h4, g6, castles here, e4. That's good for white. I've never had any problems as white against this, like against g6 variations. I guess by playing h6 before playing g6, black's avoiding like the really worst like h4, h5 versions of this position. Still doesn't seem good. b5, bishop d3, b4, knight e2, a5. Here, dum. Oh, that didn't work for white at all. That e6 move completely failed. You guys see that? Because white didn't control e5 afterwards. So this move seems like really bad. It seems like what you need to play here for this to make any sense is the move f4, stopping e5. Even here, couldn't black play e5? This seems kind of like a failure. It looks like the obvious move for white was f4 instead of e6. I mean, f4 sort of quasi-threatens f5, as well as improving the possible threat of e6. In either case, I would think f4, they can't play e6 because of the bishop, so what do they do? Do I have a way to analysis board this thing? Oh, there's a computer engine running here saying that e6 is a great move, and that after e6 you should just, that here you should just play knight to h3, allowing e5. What? This computer doesn't know what it's talking about. I'm going to ignore it. I don't. Ugh. I never use computers anyway. So why would I let this thing distract me? Okay, here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking e5, knight e8, f4. Now I'm thinking you're kind of threatening f5 and e6 better than before. So what can black really hope to do? Looks like a good position for white, very simply, with the move f4. Alright. Even the stupid computer is saying that there's a white advantage. It's saying that black tries c5 to distract from what I was going to do, which makes sense. And then after I just take it, and they come here, and I develop, like this, we just have a good position for white. I agree. Yeah, maybe Stockfish is rated 3,000 or whatever. I don't know. But anyway. Okay. Good enough. So this e6 is a total self-destruction if it's allowing black to just play e5 quickly. Because here we can obviously see that white weakened the black king a little bit, but more important is the black taking over the center. And I would never want this position. Oh my goodness, no. Oh, back to the first rank. I know that's how I play too. For those of you who've seen my Borisov games, there are some where I retreat my pieces to the first rank, but this is like super no. Very, very much a no. I don't play like this. Not this bad. Alright, let's see this one. Chernyshov. I feel like Chernyshov had also a game in the Black Redeemer Gambit that we thought very highly of, so let's see what he does. Okay, so c6 line here, yeah, f3 I've played, queen a5, e4, yep. Okay, yeah, this is an interesting line by black. If you're going to let white take over the center with e4, you want to counter immediately with e5. This is a typical position you get out of these openings too. Now here, white can take on f6, play knight f3, push d5. There's like several different ways to play this. Takes. Okay, so now black has to take with the knight because taking with the pawn leaves his king side destroyed. And then white won't take on e5 and straighten things out. They'll just play knight d4. So take with the knight. Now this makes sense. Now you don't want to play queen e5, knight f3, so knight g4 makes sense, knight f3. Now why not knight e5 here? And this is where we pop up analysis, and we try and play knight takes e5 here. And black's position looks fine. And the computer is agreeing that black's position is fine. Okay, so knight f3. I don't understand why black plays bishop e6. But now he plays this move to hold the e5 pawn. This is an ugly way to play for white, trying to hold this pawn, but he did it. And now white's position is good. But I don't actually like this approach, because if you... Whoops, sorry, I don't know what just happened there. I don't like this approach because if you think about it, the position after knight e5 just doesn't look pleasant for white at all. And that seems pretty easy of a move for black to find. So... And bishop f6 is like helping the bishop on c8 develop. So yeah, so I'm going to say no to this approach, and I'm going to suggest to you guys that knight f3 is probably better. Okay, so far, 2 games, 2 misses. Oops. Hope I didn't lose the other games. Okay. 2 games, 2 misses. No good new ideas for white. e6, e3. Okay. Ah, the old stonewall with the bishop on g5. Stonewall with a bishop on g5 makes a lot of sense, but the knight on c3 is not as good in that whole deal. So we'll see if this is good or bad. Queen a5, bishop f6. That's surprising. What? What is going on here? Why can't I understand the moves that any of these people make? It looks like they're just No, I'm not going to be too rude. I'm not going to say that they're beginners. It looks like I can't figure out their ideas. And normally I have some idea what grandmasters are doing in their games. Like, bishop d7 is what I would expect here if I were playing a blitz game. You guys also. What's wrong with bishop d7? Alright, we have to click here in order to move the pieces. We play bishop d7. And this time, the clever Stockfish is agreeing with me. It's saying that bishop d7 was correct. And black is fine if they play bishop d7. Instead, they play king f8. And now, just like me, Stockfish pukes on them. Okay, so these guys are beginners after all. Sorry, I've got no words for how bad these 3 games are so far. I mean, 3 games and just abysmal play by white all 3 games. Please, somebody give me something, or I will stop looking at GM games. Okay. Alright, so here, surprising to see black play c6 instead of c5. Because white didn't play e4 quickly, you would think that black would probably be able to play c5. In this position, is there anything wrong with c5? Stockfish also says c5 and pukes on white. And after c6, basically black will have wasted a move since their plan was to play c5. Okay, so it's queenside, that I would do, sure. Some weird a5 move, I don't know, e4, knight e4, queen e1 to play e4. This e4. Whoa. I thought White was going to play knight e2 here. This looks scary for White. Yeah, I'm not pumped about this position either. Let's see. So maybe we should play a3 here to stop Black from playing a3. a3, then b5. Now you probably have to play knight a2 because b4 is super strong here from Black if you allow that. And what do I think? We'll be able to play e4, but overall our pieces are not that impressive. Yeah, I'm not impressed with what White did here again. So another e3 that's leaving me feeling pretty flat. Unimpressed. I mean, he didn't lose in like 10 moves with White, but alright, Canaro, second try. c6, f3, h6, f4, knight h5, e3, hilarious. Yep, Fisher random chess, right? No. This is not good for White. So we're not learning much so far. Nobody else seems to know how to play this opening. e6, e4, d e4 castles. Okay, this is something I've tried. I'm getting these games from the database on chess.com. Under this like learn menu on the side, there's like opening Explorer. Then when you click on Explorer, you get to like this kind of window. And when you like get a position, there's a link to click view all games from current position. That gives you a list of the games. I organize them by rating and look at the highest rated players. So here we've got Sagalchik versus Albert. So two, not super strong. No, I didn't sort by White wins, by rating, just to see what the top players, or the best players, have done in these positions. So two GMs, who aren't like the highest rated in the world, but GMs nonetheless. Yep, I've had these positions, knight g2, yeah. So here I've just played a3 in the past, I think. And then bishop back to e7, and then f3. So we'll see if what he does is any better than what I do. Ooh, what? He wants to play knight g3 and he doesn't want his bishop trapped by g5 at the end. But at best he could like maybe win back his pawn and have given up the bishop pair. So this position is not going to be great for White. Black is beyond comfortable. I will just say, I mean, we don't need to look at like the whole game beyond this. This position here, it's kind of like a typical French structure with d takes e4. But White having traded two pieces and left Black the bishop pair, this doesn't look promising at all. I don't think that the database on chess.com includes blitz games by legendary YouTube masters. No, I think it includes games only played in tournaments, making it a much more valuable database, in fact. So why does this d5 thing matter? I guess bishop d5, knight d5, bishop d5, knight d5, rook d5. Well, I don't know what I don't know that Black was forced to sack the exchange, but it looks like he didn't care. He's got three pawns and a bishop pair here, so it's a very, very good position. White's not able to do anything here. Traded a pair of pawns, gaining more space. Well, pretty nice game by Albert. Unfortunately, I was hoping for some good games by the people playing White. I was hoping to add some ideas to my arsenal. Okay, he plays e4 like me. When is this game from? 2002. Huh. Because this is... Skates is one of the people I've played this against as White, so... So she'd already seen this exact line when I played it against her, because she'd had an earlier game with this GM. Huh. She played exactly the same against me as against him, so she must have been happy with the position that she got against him. She did not get as good a position against me. Okay, so this move here, so again, these people aren't using this f3 approach. He's just playing knight e2, but I'm not super impressed with what knight e2 can do. Here's where I need to get back his pawn with this knight e4 tactic, and she allows it. I guess this queen a5 move I don't really like. So maybe even c6 is not the best here. Like b6, bishop b7 looks pretty good in this particular position, actually, if you want to hold the pawn on e4. And also you could look for a chance to play c5. c6 is pretty solid looking, but then she decided, oh, white's just going to play knight g3, knight e4 and have an advantage, so what am I going to do? And she's not really, she doesn't have the activity to do anything to resist that. So in this case, this knight e2 actually looks pretty good. So I guess she accepted that this was going to happen, that she couldn't stop white from playing knight g3, knight e4, so at least she's going to get a queen trade. Gets the queen trade, and then plays c5. So now, yeah, this was actually good defensive play by Camilla. She's sort of minimizing the damage and getting a position that's closer to equal by going for this endgame. Yeah, and she got a position that's basically equal. Very good defense, actually. That was great decision making by her. And yeah, very good. Okay, so actually very good defense by Camilla after that. After I was wondering about this sort of semi-passive play with c6, but she just made the right decision to trade these queens and hold this endgame here just fine. Yeah. Okay, so far nothing impressive by white, really. I mean, that position was playable. I could play that for white, and you could too, but I wouldn't especially want to. Okay, Smirnov. There's a game from 2002. Queen d2, e6. Sure, I can play this move. Yep. c5. So early c5 by black, very challenging. Now you want to... Now you really want to be able to play e4 here. In response, or knight f3. But e3 is played. That's like a guaranteed bad position for white, in my experience. Yeah, just a stupid position for white, who continued to have nothing throughout the game, I'm gonna guess. Yeah, I mean, white's not lost yet, but they're just hanging in there in a not good position. Oh, and then black hung a rook? What? Weird. Okay. Genius. Alright. I feel like I'm not learning much from this, so we're probably going to stop soon. So I don't think anything that these people are doing is any good for white. Yeah. Obviously not a great position for white. Not a terrible position, but not a good one. So I think you guys are better off copying the ideas from my games in part 1 of the bishop g5, knight bd7, queen d2 video, rather than these games that we saw today.